Hi, it's, it's very nice to be here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I want to start by also congratulating all of you and Gene on his 90th birthday, especially, and ISR and yeah, and ISR on its 30th anniversary. This is Renee, my wife, and my mom, Donna, is on the Zoom as well. You'll see her, and so are some of my brothers. I want to say hello to Catherine Bernstein and Shinobu and everyone else. Last time, just quickly, we were there in Warsaw. We were there for Bob's honoris causa uh, degree, and he was very honored by to get that. And now, 30 years later, you have the ISR, or it's been 30 years that you've had the ISR in the University of Warsaw, and he would be honored as well that it's called the Zions ISR. So that's really great. Bob and Jean were such good old colleagues, and they had a very long relationship. So Jean is somebody who's very important to me and the rest of my family. I don't know much about their relationship, but I do know, and I understand it revolved a lot around long midday walks on the campus at University of Michigan, where they each had a Kit Kat candy bar, and they would just eat their candy and walk around and then go back to work. So if you don't know what that is, it's just some chocolate, but I guess if you come to the United States, you should try a Kit Kat in honor of Gene and Bob. So anyhow, it's a long way of saying hello, and I want you to know we're very honored to all be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What about the second son? It's Michael. Michael, can you say some words?
Sure. Hello. And Jean, congratulations with your birthday, and congratulations with the other ceremony going on.
You are in Europe, yes? Am I right or not?
I'm sorry?
Are you in Europe?
I'm in Belgium, yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so it's dinner time for me too.
I don't know if you guys remember, but when you were small, and I came to visit that beautiful house that Bob built on Clark Road, I would sleep in a tent outside on the lawn, very comfortable, except you guys would keep coming into the tent to bug me. And you wouldn't leave unless I gave you each a quarter. So it cost me 50 cents every time I
Next time we see you in Ann Arbor, we'll pay you back, Jean.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. 2 words. The youngest one. The youngest son. I see Krisha, who is the youngest daughter.
Hey, Jean, I just want to say hi. I want to remind you that 40 years ago, we sent you a postcard from Auschwitz, which Bob wrote, and he said that he wished you were here. And so I just want to say that I'm so glad to see you made it. And I'm also sure that he would not wish you where he is right now. And I want you to know I wish I was with you and with Catherine to celebrate your 90th birthday. You are exactly as I remember you from 50 years ago and every year since. Back then, I was convinced you were a debonair, sophisticated, intellectual man from France for some reason. I was sure you were. And I remember,
Donna, I still remember your birthday, and I was very, very moved when when I saw you giving flowers to Peter after his concert last time. It is thanks to Joy. So welcome to our meeting. Yes.
hey, can I finish what I was going to say, Christina? That's great. Okay, and I remember piling into your VW Beetle, Gene, with Catherine, who I had a serious crush on, and with David, who was just the funniest kid ever. And we would go on some adventure like to Kroger's or something like that, something exciting. And I remember sitting with you at many various sporting events at the University of Michigan. I remember your house on Pomona. I remember the move to Getty's, which seemed like an amazing castle at the time. And you
Okay.
made
Thank you very
a little
much.
very comfortable home. And Gene, I want to say to you, Gene, I want to say that you've always been unfailingly kind to me. You gave me a job as a subject in some experiment in the basement of the School of Ed. I think I got $15, and I would walk away completely frustrated and humiliated because I had no idea what had been done to me. And then I realized I could ask the grad student who was conducting your experiment, hey, maybe we could play some ping pong. So instead of doing the experiment, I played ping pong with the graduate student. That was pretty good. And I just want to say finally that it's always every time we meet and I hear you say hello to me, it warms my heart. And so I look forward to seeing you in Ann Arbor soon.
Well, it all depends on how you read that postal card from the bottom. Your intonation is like, oh, wish you were here.
Can we switch to Miss Joe? I think it is the first time in life when we can see the youngest Zion's family member. Hazel and Krisha, can you introduce us to us?
Hi, Jean. Happy birthday. Hi, Christina. This is Ishal, the youngest in the group, I think, right now. And my husband, Michael. What a wonderful thing to remember Bob on Father's Day. So thank you so much. And Jean, also, I don't have as many fun memories as my brother, but I remember you from my entire life. So
Hazel, I hope that we will see each other in Brzezin in Łódź, yes?
Yes, I'm so sorry not to be there today. I hope that somebody said that I have two PhD students that we have our commencement in 1 hour. So I put on their hoods and it's been such an effort for both of them. I needed to be there. So I'm very sorry not to be there today. And Jean, happy birthday. What can I say? You and Martha, Bob and Donna, you built a life for being a graduate student, for being an academic, for learning to love this life that so many of us have had the great fortune to be part of. And I don't think I hope there are still days like that, but times like that, but I just owe so much gratitude to the world that was Ann Arbor, and to my friends who were lucky enough to be there, Shinobu, Tony, I can't see everybody else who's there, but the people on the screen, Michelle and Daphne and Monica and Chris and Yaakov and Shul. It just brings this flood of memories of the days in Ann Arbor, and I carry them with me in my heart. And Jean, you and Bob with those walks. I wasn't going to say that besides the Kit Kat, there were a lot of I think what should I say, politically incorrect jokes that were part of those walks as well. And I thought I had the good taste not to tell the wish you were here one, but I'm glad to know that the science gene is strong somehow. And Joe brought it out, because those jokes were just another part of this world that we all enjoyed so much. And those are the kinds of things that are not part of the world, I think, for better than for worse these days. But Jean, you were the quintessential intellectual. You read everything in the news. You read all the articles. You put it together. You knew what was new, what was old, and you just had a way of being that I appreciate so much more as we, get a little bit older here together. So happy birthday. And I love you, and thank you for arranging this, and Peter and Mike and Joe for making it, all work.
This helped me, because now I can see many people, and that I haven't seen for ages. This is first. Second, I know that they could identify themselves as Jean students. Am I right? Norbert, you weren't Jean's student, so maybe you will be the first, yes?
I say one more thing, Virginia, this is going to take forever, but I have to say, since you made a big thing about the Kit Kat bar, when near Bob's last weeks, Piotr came to visit, and he brought the Polish version of the Kit Kat. And Bob wasn't eating very much, but he got himself up on the couch to announce very clearly that it was far superior to the American Kit Kat. Thank you, Piotr. That was a last pleasure for Bob.
Norbert and Daphne, it's very interesting what you have in your name. So it is she, her, they, and Norbert is he, his. So this is like the identifier, not professors, but the gender, yes?
Welcome to America.
Welcome to America.
Welcome to America. We're too worried that our students may be confused about our gender, so we identify our genders there to avoid any ambiguity. No, this is part of paying respect to people who want to be addressed with a pronoun that is not the pronoun you would think of when you look at them. And to just share this, we do that as well. But you won't be surprised that I am a he. And
I'm perfectly willing, if you want to call me they, I don't care. I just think people should be able to feel that they belong, whatever they want to call themselves. Yeah.
Yep. And that signifies that. So Gwashina, I'm not sure if I understood you right. I think you called on me as one of Jean's students. I have to say, unfortunately, I never was one of Jean's students. Also, we are all, in some sense, Jean's students. But I came to Ann Arbor as an old man. I was hired as a full professor. I never was a student in Ann Arbor. But Jean was a wonderful colleague. And as I said, in many ways, we are all students of Jean, and we're students of Bob, whose work has pioneered many of the things that we are still thinking about. And so that term is just right. I had 20 wonderful years in Ann Arbor, and with Jean as a colleague and Jean as a almost close neighbor out on Geddes. And I have very fond memories of that time. Also, now I am calling in from Los Angeles, from Manhattan Beach, and I'm greatly enjoying the California weather over the Michigan weather. And Jean, I lost sight of you. I can't even see on which screen you are. Oh, now I have you. Okay. So it's wonderful seeing you, Jean, and congratulations on your birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Daphne, we shared the room once during the
I will be very brief. I took a class from Jean on group dynamics, and as Hazel said, Jean could organize what's old, what's new. But I found out from Jean that you're supposed to, that there's a social consensus on where central points are. I never knew what they were. And I sat there thinking, oh my God, because these stories always began, say that you were behind enemy lines and you had to meet at noon. Where would you go? I spent the entire 3 hours thinking I wouldn't know. Oh my gosh. So apparently not everyone has the same social consensus, which is a thing I think that we eventually figured out. Toward the end of the semester, there were various people who wanted delays. They wanted to hand in their paper late. And Gene thought about it and he said, well, you can do that if you want to. But the truth is, however bad the paper is now, it'll be later and equally bad. You are He filled the semester not only with content that was very important, but also with his unique and never to be replicated professorial style. So it's wonderful to see you, and I share everyone else's fond memories of being in Ann Arbor.
Thank you very much for this story. We will remember that. I think it's a very good saying that the paper will not be better with time. So now help me. There are two Jakobs. There are Monica and Chris. Where do you identify yourself as a student of Gene or not, or colleague? Because as a colleague, you will be first.
Talking to me, I'm assuming. Yes, I was a student of Gene, but not only a student. When I arrived to Ann Arbor, it was for me terra incognita. I had no idea. And Gene and Martha, I felt they are adopting Tzipi and me and our daughter Yael into their family. And they showed us the beautiful face of America. And I'm still trying to emulate with any one of my students the kind of, I don't want to say support, but the kind of anti-hierarchical style of Gene's mentoring. I'm really trying to do it again and again. And not only that, but also the atmosphere of the research center of
some problems with connections. I'm sorry. Do you hear me, or it's only problem of Jakob? Can you hear me?
It's only problem of backup. We can hear you.
Okay, Jakob's called. This is now your turn. Jakob drop in New York is frozen south. Okay? You should unmute. Okay, now.
I was the third Israeli student. The first was Amiram, then Yaakov Trope, and then me. I came at 76, and I stayed in Ann Arbor till 81. I think that my main sort of general impression of Gene is that he was a mentor not only academically, but he was a mentor in terms of being a person. I mean, for me, it was very important to know that there is academia and you can be there from 8 to 5 to 6 to 7, but there is after academia. And as a young father, for me, it was very important to know that there is family, not only academia, but also it's important to invest in the family and to know him and Martha and the kids. For me, it was very, very impressive. Thank you, Gene. Happy birthday. I'm currently in Israel.
Last time you were in Warsaw with us, it was 2010, so I hope that you will come. Monica and Chris from Kansas, are you still in Kansas?
Hi, and happy birthday, Gene. I work with Gene directly, although not in the classroom. I'm happy to say that I published one paper with Gene and also with Shinobu. And I'm still proud of that work. It was I did the work in 1984, and Jean submitted the paper in 1994. So it only took 10 years to see the light of day. But that was okay. I want to add something a little professional. People are doing personal things, and I may not be best at that, but Jean was terrific and a very human presence in a program that wasn't always human to graduate students, just like any graduate experience. But I want to say that there's a lot of tumult in the field about replications and fraud and p-hacking and so on. And Jean's work turns out to be one of the things I continually go to talk about how work that's decades old was reliable, important, and useful. I talk about it all the time, and it's always a very convincing argument to point to group polarization and the work that happened there as work that will last for the ages.
Okay, I think Marcos, you are the next in the row.
Let me just say hello to Jean too. It's lovely to see you on your 90th birthday. And I was also at Michigan. It's 40 years ago now, nearly. And Jean was always a lovely presence there. And my advisor was Mel Manis, who I think Jean Mel is now 92. 93. And it's lovely to see both of you because you're both very important to my graduate career. So thank you.
Monica and Chris, I can say that I still remember my stay in Kansas. So, so thank you again. Okay, Marcus, it's now your turn.
Thank you, Grajna. Happy birthday, Jean. It's really absolutely wonderful to see you here. I graduated 22 years ago. And you were a wonderful advisor, and I felt close to you. You were so supportive of me that in my 21 years as a professor, basically, I really came back to you, the style, the relationship you build with students. And I say 21 years ago because last year I went from having 30 students as a director to having now 3,500 students because I'm now the graduate dean at my university here. And I'm now, my main job is really now to take care of students. And I realize so much of you, that caring attitude to just be there, to be the mensch, who you are, has really deeply shaped me. But I want to echo also what Chris just said. You were just kind of a fantastic, not only writer, which you probably still are, but a great writing instructor. Frankly, you kicked my ass, and all for the better. And I really, really appreciate that. Thank you, Jean, and happy birthday.
Piotr, I think that you are the youngest. Am I right?
I think so.
I might be. Well, I graduated in 97, so that shows my youth. But kind of I'm gonna shows also my dinosaur component, because I'm kind of I'm gonna be still, I think mentally a part of the generation that Hazel wishes has gone away. But I'm feeling like I'm just the last dinosaur standing. So I'm gonna tell one anecdote about Jean. That's gonna sound a little bit like a Me Too story, but I mean, it's a trigger warning. It's actually not gonna be a Me Too story. So when we were at Michigan, we had to do something called the qual examination. And Jean was in charge of the qual examination. And basically he prepared the literature, which included people like Milgram, Ash, Sharif, Morton Deutsch, basically all the classics of group influence, conformity. It was an amazing list. And as we've just heard, this has continued to inspire, this work has continued to inspire. But it didn't have any social identity theory. So our much more enlightened and youthful colleagues, Colin Leach, who's now the editor of JPSP, and Laura, I forgot what her current name is, but then it was Laura Zuckard, decided to improve the qual list. And I felt youthful at the time, so I kind of joined the movement. It was my last time I tried to become an activist. And I I went, since I had a very good relation with Gene, and Gene was very kind to me, I went to him to suggest that we change this list. And Gene said something to me, which I think it's mildly, I need help to interpret. He said, "Kiss my tojes." And I still don't know whether this was an invitation or what was his reaction. But anyway, the call was not changed, but that memory stayed with me. And I think this is the essence of Gene, because when you know that his kindness and his authenticity and his directness by the fact that he will tell you things like that. If he doesn't like something, he will tell you this. And Gene has always been the most kind of direct, open, honest, and generous person to me and to other grad students. So Gene, thank you so much. I really, really remember all the times in Ann Arbor very fondly. And I really I thank you for everything you've done to me, to us, and all of it. So it's really meant a lot. Thank you. Happy birthday.
I tell you, I only say Kishmi and Torres to someone I really like.
Okay, Michelle and Tom, you were in Poland, I think, 30 years ago. When was it?
Yes, I think so. It was 1991 when Bob sent a bunch of graduate students over at the sort of beginning, and we had a lovely meal at your house, Krishna, which I always remember. And
borscht.
Oh, we had borscht. Yes, borscht. Yes.
Red borscht now, so.
Yeah. It was a baby borscht. It was a young borscht. Anyway, happy birthday, Gene. It is so lovely. It's lovely to see everyone. It's especially lovely to see you. I can't imagine graduate school without you there, without having had you as a professor or in group dynamics, as I'm sure many other people would say as well. So yeah, and I have not sadly been back to Warsaw since 1991.
Yeah, we were part of that first group, I think, that visited Poland as part of the exchange, and we went to Krakow and Prague, and these memories stay with me for a long time. I've jumped to another discipline. I'm a political scientist now, but I consider myself a social psychologist at heart, and those experiences have really influenced the way I think about both fields. I will add one thing, which is there are plenty of people in the room who were graduate students of Gene's, but I may be with the possible exception of Monica, the only undergraduate student of Gene's. And he was one of the inspirations that led me to pursue social psychology at Michigan. He didn't think I should stay at Michigan. He thought I should go somewhere else. I'm not sure what that says about me or our relationship. But I ended up sticking around anyway, and he was a great resource. So happy birthday and congratulations on the long partnership between the two institutions.
Thank you so much. So who else would like to say something? Spike Lee?
Sure. Hi, Gene. I don't know if you remember this, but it was 15 years ago, 2008, when I took your course. I found that you had a way of making me think and seeing things that are really memorable. So I'll mention two very brief episodes. One was in the context of that course that I took with you, group processes. We had to read 62 articles. I read a subset of them. And for one of the articles that we had to do a summary of, I did the presentation in class. By the end of it, you said just one sentence, which I still remember. You said, I think your summary is better than the original article. And I took that as a compliment. I guess I can summarize articles really nicely. That's one little episode. And then in my second year of grad school, I was doing my 619 presentation. And as part of that presentation, I was talking about the metaphor, something smells fishy. And at the end of the presentation, you asked a question, but why fish? What's wrong with fish? And it actually got me thinking, what's wrong with fish? So you have this unique way of, getting people to think, and in a very memorable way. So it's wonderful to see you here. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. So Ruth Mayo, can you say something? But we cannot hear you, I'm sorry. Okay, so you can write on chat. If you cannot, but you will read it, or maybe I will read it. So I will read on this chat. It is from Joe Zions. Hi to see you all. Yakov, Hazel said, Grażyna, thank you. This is lovely.
Can you hear me now? Wait, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'll be very quick. I will say that we know there is saying, I don't know still yet from a personal experience, that grandkids are better than kids. Then I think that for me, Gene is my academic grandfather. I had two amazing fathers, Shul and Norbert. And I came to Ann Arbor not expecting anything to my postdoc. And then Gene immediately invited me both to his office and my family for a great dinner with him and Marta, and immediately had so much time and so much input and energy to discuss everything with me. And I was very fortunate, and I hope that I'm continuing, as my mentors did, his legacy of how to mentor students. And I thank you very much. Happy birthday, Gene.
Well, I'm overwhelmed by what all of you had to say. And this has been a wonderful experience. And I hope we can do it again on my 100th birthday.
Okay, so it was a pleasure to welcome you at the University of Warsaw, but next time please come. Because now we will enjoy our very tasty borscht, white and red, and many good foods without you. Sorry. Thank you very much. We are waiting. All the room is waiting.
Ale nikt nie widzi
Congratulations, Gene.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Dean.
Congratulations. Thank you.